I've often wondered how athletes like Michael Phelps, Justin Gatlin, and Lindsey Vonn achieve their high level of competition. Not because I want to be on their level, but because I want to know how they achieve this great accomplishment. So I went to the Colorado Springs Olympic Training Facility to find out how these athletes train and live. While I was there, I did get to see how they train and how they surround themselves with the idea of their training. The facilities there are beautiful, and they have top-of-the-line machines, medicines, and trainers. It was truly amazing the amount of technology that was there. Also, to know that some of America's best athletes trained in our backyard was very humbling and made me realize that these are just humans driven by their sport. I always see these people on television, and they are common household names, but we only see them when they are competing and not when they are training and suffering through all the hurdles that they have to go through. So what makes these people such elite athletes? Is it their training and motivation, or their body and mindset? Training is the main thing that everybody thinks about when they think of athletes and the Olympics. This is a big part, but if you were to just train nonstop, you would not get anything accomplished. This is because all parts of being an elite athlete have to come together and work in unison. There are a lot of different ways to train, and one of the ways that I researched was a 12-week high-intensity training also combined with a reduced volume training. This means that it was a very hard workout, but at the same time, it was not as long. A lot of coaches use this sort of workout on the first day of practice to thin out the herd if they have too big of a team. All types of training are very beneficial to your sport because it teaches you the discipline on showing up every day and giving your best effort. One of the hardest parts about being an elite athlete, or even a high school athlete, is staying motivated. This is because people have a hard time working towards the goals they set when they are not achieving what they expected. One theory is that emotion is related to intrinsic motivation. It says that if you are emotionally sound, then you will have more motivations when you are competing in your athletics. Intrinsic motivation involves participating in an activity for the pleasure and enjoyment you get from it. If you're going to have motivation in your athletic competitions, then you need to believe in yourself that you can, and you have to get some enjoyment out of it. If you are not fully applying yourself to your athletics, then you're just wasting your time. This is because you work so long and hard, but the results are just not showing. This causes many people to drop out of their sports and join different sports or clubs. The amazing thing is that this applies to all athletes, not just elite athletes. A lot of people in high school have to deal with this, and as you get into professional athletics, it becomes even more present because you are competing for money, your country, or even your state. One of the most important pieces about being an elite athlete is the body and mindset that every athlete has to put themselves into. I once read a book called The Champion's Mindset, and it goes over how to think like an elite athlete. The book details the main part of being an elite athlete is envisioning yourself where you want to be and also always thinking about it at all times. One of the things that I researched is if people are just born better at sports. Most of you have heard of fast and slow twitch muscles. People born with fast twitch muscles are better at sprinting, and people with slow twitch muscles are generally better at more distance aspect sports. Your body is made for some sports, but you can always train your body and mind to get into a new sport and compete at a high level in it. The body and mind have to be connected when you're talking about an elite athlete. This is because you can always envision yourself at the highest spot, but you want to be, but you don't apply yourself, you're just wasting your time. Athletes have to give a lot to their training, motivation, and mindset. This takes a lot out of athletes because it is such a high cost. I don't mean money aspects. I mean they have to sacrifice a lot to be an athlete. Many people don't realize this when they start doing sports professionally. I looked at many different studies that were done on time management and with coaches and athletes and concluded that coaches try and get the most effort out of an athlete in as little amount of time. There are many organizations that supply grants to athletes, such as United States Track and Field, will supply $1,000 to $2,500 to some athletes while they're competing. This may not seem like a lot of money, but when you get many countries sponsoring you like this, it's a reasonable way to get by. But not all athletes get this. So I learned at the Colorado Springs training facility that if you are asked to become a resident athlete, they pay for all your expenses and they just fully cover everything. Not all of these people are getting money to compete, and there are also physical costs. Most athletes in their later years have problems with joint pains when they stop competing. Elite athletes are not just a special breed. Athletes can achieve this high level of competition by applying themselves to their training, body, and mind. Also staying motivated and dealing with the costs that come with being this type of athlete. Anyone willing to achieve this state of excellence, not just the certain people that are born into their sport. Thank you.